Good morning and welcome to Mission Control Houston and Space Station Live. The three members of the Expedition 37 crew currently on orbit are enjoying a few hours of downtime before the crew expands later today with the arrival of three new crew members still on the ground in Baikonur. Watching over the systems from here on the ground, we have a Space Station Flight Control Room. We have the Space Station Flight Control team here in the Space Station Flight Control Room, led today by Flight Director Tony Sakachi, with Hal Getzelman assisting as Capcom. The crew members are already at the space station, or the crew members who are already at the space station began their day a bit later than normal at 2:30 a.m. to give them some extra rest before an exceptionally long day. Currently orbiting 259 miles above the Pacific coast over Washington and Oregon. They are Russian Commander Fyodor Yurchikhin, U.S. Flight Engineer Karen Nyberg, and European Space Agency Flight Engineer Luca Parmitano. They arrived at the station on May 28th and have now spent 119 days in space. They've been alone at the station since the other half of what was then the Expedition 36 crew left on September 10th. But of course, that's going to change later today with the launch of the Soyuz TMA-10M, which will deliver flight engineers Mike Hopkins, Oleg Kotov, and Sergei Rosansky. That flight's scheduled to lift off from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan at 3:58 p.m. Central Time and arrive at the station 6 hours later at 9:48 p.m. The crew in Baikonur has already begun their day and have departed their crew quarters. Later this hour, they'll be undergoing their final medical checkups. And meanwhile, their vehicle is also being prepared for launch. Batteries are going to be installed in the boosters in the next few minutes, and the fueling of the rocket will begin before the hour is over. Although the crew in space is currently resting, they've already done half a day of work chocked full with maintenance and science experiments. Karen Nyberg has completed 2 runs of the In-Space 3 experiment and will squeeze in one more before docking tonight. That experiment examines colloidal fluids classified as smart materials, which transition to a solid-like state in the presence of a magnetic field. The hope is that new manufacturing models based on the idea of having these nanoparticles act as self-assembling building blocks could be used to improve or develop active mechanical systems such as new brake systems and airplane landing gear. Nyberg also spent some time on the Ice Crystal 2 experiment, which looks at the growth rates and stability of ice crystals in supercooled water. The results of the experiment could open up a new research field related to the fundamentals of ice crystal growth mechanisms controlled by biological macromolecules. Nyberg and Luca Parmitano both took a few minutes when they woke up to take part in the reaction self-test experiment. That's aimed at trying out a way for astronauts to objectively assess whether fatigue might affect their performance in space. For instance, on long days such as today, when they'll be up very late awaiting the arrival of the Soyuz. On his own, Parmitano worked at the Materials Science Laboratory today, changing out experiments being run from the ground. The Materials Science Laboratory can be used for basic materials research on metals, alloys, polymers, semiconductors, ceramics, crystals, and glasses. It can help scientists discover new applications for existing materials or help lead to new and improved materials. And on the Russian side of the station, Commander Fyodor Yurchikhin was preparing crew quarters for his soon-to-arrive crewmates and working with the Cascade experiment, which looks at cell cultivation and microgravity, and the Obstanovka experiment, which is a small satellite control technology development and demonstration experiment. That's what's going on in space today, and this is Mission Control Houston.